Hey everyone, it's Josh from Blockchain DXB and today is the 8th of April 2026 and President Donald Trump, he did actually give out some really stark warning, and what I'd really urge you guys to do is go ahead and follow President Donald Trump via Truth Social. Now what happened earlier today, Satoshi, President Donald Trump did actually give a deadline to Iran, and the deadline was 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and after that, he did actually threaten that the entire civilization will be at risk. But here's an interesting update. The Prime Minister of Pakistan, who is negotiating deals regarding Operation Epic Fury, he did actually request really politely for an extension of 4 weeks. But we do have another interesting update regarding this. Now what we'll do, Satoshi, later on in the episode, we'll definitely go ahead and discuss this. But interestingly enough, because of Operation Epic Fury and information connected to that, we are seeing a lot of positive momentum in the world of crypto-related ETF. And here's the thing, Satoshi, the ETF inflows is massive. As a matter of fact, this is best in almost 6 weeks. So am I right in saying, Satoshi, that the crypto market reacts to a lot of certainty in the space?
That's right, George. We're seeing significant movement, and those ETF inflows are quite substantial, marking a notable point in recent times. It points to some key changes in market sentiment we'll explore.
You're absolutely correct. The market sentiment has also changed, but right now it is still at fear, but the numbers actually picked up pace. And here's the thing, guys, if you look at the global cryptocurrency snapshot, I'm very much sure this trajectory continues, particularly regarding crypto ETF. There is a very high possibility the price of Bitcoin may actually cross the $80,000 mark. But look, whatever we are saying is definitely not financial advice, and we are still waiting for final details regarding Operation Epic Fury. Now in today's episode, Satoshi will definitely go ahead and touch base on update regarding Operation Epic Fury. And here's the thing, Satoshi, while I was just preparing for this episode, we do have some more interesting update. And we'll go ahead and discuss, Satoshi, based on the information by President Donald Trump, Prime Minister of Pakistan, and also the Foreign Minister of Iran, what kind of an impact it'll have on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now after that, Satoshi will definitely go ahead and delve into inflows that is connected to crypto ETF. Do you want to tell our listeners what is it that we're going to be discussing regarding ETF inflows?
We'll be diving into the specifics of those inflows, looking at which funds are seeing the most traction, and how that might be influencing the broader market picture. It's quite interesting to see the institutional demand continue.
Absolutely, and here's the thing, guys, Financial Times, they are providing constant update regarding crypto ETFs, so I'd really urge you guys to go ahead and follow them as well. But look, if you do want to get a daily snapshot, you can do that via defalama.com, but in today's episode, we'll definitely delve into that. Now, the next news, Satoshi, is a really interesting one, and this is connected to Bitcoin Network, isn't it? And the Bitcoin developers are connected to this. Now, do you want to tell our listeners what is the news we are going to be discussing later on in today's episode?
We'll be talking about those attack blocks on the Signet test network. Basically, developers are demonstrating a vulnerability to help people understand how things might go wrong, which is tied to the BIP54 proposal. It's quite a proactive move to address potential issues.
And for our listeners, you should note that BIP stands for Bitcoin Improvement Proposal. Now, the final news for today, Satoshi, is connected to US Security and Exchange Commission, isn't it? And the new chair of Security and Exchange Commission, that is Paul Atkins, he did actually have a session, and that particular session is live via YouTube. We'll definitely go ahead and delve into that. And looks like the SEC is working on something called as Red Crypto, which essentially means regulation in crypto. This move again, Satoshi, according to me, is a positive development by the Trump administration. So we'll definitely go ahead and touch base on these news. And here's the thing, Satoshi, in every Blockchain DXB podcast, we will be looking at 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now, what is the first news that we have for our listeners, and what is it that we are going to be discussing later on in today's episode?
We'll be looking at a partnership between Alpha Ladder Group, Metacomp, and Macom International, focused on real-world asset tokenization and Web 2.5 payments. It's a cross-border collaboration between Singapore and the UAE, aiming to link MENA's real assets with global capital.
It's really interesting to know, Satoshi, that they're working on Web 2.5, isn't it? So it looks like there's some transition taking place between Web 2 and Web 3.0. Really interesting news that we are going to be delving into. Now, the final news for today is all the way from the Emirate of Abu Dhabi, and this is connected to short films, isn't it? Do you want to tell our listeners what is it that we are going to be discussing later on in today's episode, please?
The second news is about the AI short film competition launched by Sorbonne University Abu Dhabi, inviting students to imagine how AI will shape society. That's what we'll discuss in detail, with its goals and impact.
Thank you so much for that, Satoshi. So it looks like you have quite a lot of interesting things to cover, guys, in today's episode. But before we go ahead and kickstart today's episode, a quick word from our sponsors. Hey everyone, this episode is powered by a new sponsor, that is Amana. and they are the region's first and fastest growing regulated all-in-one trading and investing app. So look guys, whether you're looking into investing in US stocks like Apple or Tesla, or mega giants like ADNOC or Salik, Amana puts the financial markets on your fingertips. It includes gold, foreign exchange, ETFs, futures, commodities, and guess what guys? They have over 375 cryptocurrencies, and this makes them the biggest crypto selection in the region. Now for the Blockchain DXB listeners guys, if you want to go and build long-term wealth without thinking about it every day, explore Amana's pre-built auto investment plans, and all you have to do is set your monthly budget, choose your preferred asset category, and let Amana automate the investing for you. Zero fees, zero lockups, 100% customizable. And here's the thing guys, funding your account is easier than ever. You can fund your account with Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit cards, instant bank deposits, and even crypto wallets. No friction and no hassles. And the best part is guys, let's say if you need support, you would absolutely love Amana for this, because they offer 24/6 human customer service, as well as a personalized sales support, real people, real help, and the customer support is in English as well as in Arabic. And for the Blockchain DXB listener and community guys, I do have something really exclusive for you. What you can do is register with Amana using the code Blockchain DXB, or you can also use the link that is in the show notes below. And here's the best part guys, once you register, fund your account with a minimum of $100 and at least go ahead and make one trade, and then you'll receive a $100 trading bonus credit to your account the following month. But look guys, it's real important to note, the bonus is non-withdrawable. It is there to help you trade and learn. So look guys, if you're looking for a transparent, powerful and easy to use app, that's Amana for you. So what are you waiting for guys? Download the app now, or you can also visit the website that is amana.app, and don't forget to use the code Blockchain DXB. And Amana guys is all markets one app. Next guys, I'm happy to announce that Blockchain DXB is the official media partner with one of the OGs in the cryptocurrency and blockchain event space, and that is Blockchain Futuristic Conference taking place in Florida this year, as well as ETH Women taking place simultaneously. And trust me guys, this is an event that you don't want to miss, isn't it? Cause for the very first time, North America's most immersive Web3 event is heading to the United States of America, and the Blockchain Futurist Conference and ETH Women event is actually taking place between the 5th and 6th of November. And the location is absolutely stunning guys. It is taking place at Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, which is in Hollywood, Florida. That's right guys, palm trees, panels, and the biggest mind in blockchain and cryptocurrencies all in one place. So there will be multi-stage panels, NFT galleries, DeFi showcases, hand-on tech demos, metaverse experiences, even outdoor VIP cabanas, and quite a lot more. And the Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock guys is one of the most iconic venues in the country. So look guys, if you're in the Web3 space, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, or even artificial intelligence space, or just want to do some serious networking, this is the place that you got to be. And to all of you Blockchain DXB listeners guys, we have something really interesting for you, because you can get a 25% off the tickets. So just use the code DXB25, and the link to the event as well as the code is in the show notes below. And as an official media partner, I'll be doing exclusive live coverage, interviews, behind the scenes access, and I will be spotlighting some of the most exciting projects shaping the future of decentralized finance tech. So if you're at the venue guys, definitely come and say hi. Maybe we can catch up for a coffee as well. So listen guys, the code is DXB25, and by using this code you will be eligible for a 25% discount. And the event is taking place between the 5th and 6th of November 2025 at the iconic Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, that is in Hollywood, Florida. And in the show notes below guys, there's all contact details for Blockchain Futuristic Conference Florida 2025, as well as ETH Women. And look guys, this is the future of blockchain technology brought into life. So don't just read about it, be there and head to the website that is futuristconference.com, and go ahead and use the code DXB25. So see you at the event. Next, Advanced Media. Advanced Media guys is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well, and Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing guys, they're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously, and they're focusing on 3 P's: That is people, planet, and prosperity. Now listen guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website, that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing guys, you also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE, so definitely check it out. And also guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing and hosting training workshops, seminars and community events that educate, inform and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gulf Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform, check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now guys, since you're taking care of that, let's quickly run to the global cryptocurrency snapshot. Now here's the thing guys, if you look at the global cryptocurrency market, right now it is at $2.46 trillion. And if you look at the total cryptocurrency market volume, right now it is at $102 billion. Now this particular increase in the cryptocurrency market volume, Satoshi, does actually show that the volume has increased by roughly on 0.360%. But if you actually compare it going back to 2025, these numbers are absolutely horrendous. And what I'm really not liking, Satoshi, since the last 24 hours, the volume of decentralized exchanges isn't looking that great. Right now it is only at $6.10 billion. And if you look at the total fees connected for these transactions, it is only at $50.26 million. And since October of last year, Satoshi, the total value locked is on a downtrend. Right now it is only at $92 billion. Now one metric, Satoshi, which I'm not content with, this is to do with decentralized exchange ratio dominance. It is only at 20.25%. Am I right in saying, Satoshi, this number higher the better?
Generally speaking, yes. A higher ratio suggests more volume and liquidity on decentralized exchanges, which can be seen as a positive sign for that sector. The current levels are showing some activity, but there's definitely room to grow to reach those previous heights. Sentiment in that specific area is likely tied to broader market conditions and investor confidence.
But here's the thing, Satoshi, what has happened since the last 24 hours? We are seeing significant amount of inflows in the world of crypto ETFs, and this is almost $600 million. It is at a staggering $491.6 million. Now here is where it gets really interesting, Satoshi. Yesterday, President Donald Trump did actually give out some really stark warning regarding Operation Epic Fury, and he did actually put out a really strong warning to Iran. He actually threatened the entire civilization of Iran. And crazily enough, because of that, the market sentiment has actually picked up pace, isn't it? Now listen guys, I'm not saying that it is only because of President Donald Trump's message. The market sentiment has actually picked up pace. But what I feel is, Satoshi, it is because of clarity the market is reacting, isn't it? What is your take regarding clarity of information? And how does it actually connect to market sentiment?
Clarity can definitely play a huge role. When investors feel they have a clearer picture of potential risks and outcomes, even if the news isn't good, that can reduce uncertainty and allow for more stable responses. In this case, the market might be processing the latest developments and adjusting accordingly, reflecting a shift in confidence.
And what happens, Satoshi, is that President Donald Trump yesterday did give around 48 hours notice, and he did actually follow up another message where he did actually use a lot of curse words. And in response to that, what happened is the president of Iran did actually say something regarding sacrificing himself. Along with that, 14 million people are willing to be sacrificed. But here's the thing, Satoshi, just few minutes ago, we do have some really interesting update, because what happened is the Prime Minister of Pakistan did actually put out a message, and this was before the deadline of 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where he's requesting President Donald Trump to go ahead and have a ceasefire for at least 4 weeks. But here's the thing, Satoshi, President Donald Trump did actually put out some information via Truth Social. Now what I want you to do is, Satoshi, I want you to read out what President Donald Trump did actually put out via Truth Social. So can you do that for our listeners, please?
Donald J. Trump posted, based on conversations with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Field Marshal Asim Munir of Pakistan, and wherein they requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran, and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz, I agree to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. The reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives, and are very far along with a definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all of the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the United States and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated. On behalf of the United States of America, as President, and also representing the countries of the Middle East, it is an honor to have this long-term problem close to resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump.
Now what do you make of it, Satoshi? How do you think the market is going to be reacting to this? Because look, the global cryptocurrency snapshot that I prepared was actually before this message by President Donald Trump. But after this message, how do you think the market is going to be reacting to this?
Given that the message came after your snapshot, and it does announce a suspension of military action, that sort of reduction in geopolitical tension could be seen as a positive signal for risk assets, including crypto. We might see some of that fear ease and maybe a move towards neutral or even greed, depending on how the market processes it over the next few hours. Institutional interest could continue to strengthen. We'll have to watch to see if this leads to sustained price growth.
What are the few metrics you suggest that people should be looking at? Am I right in saying crypto-related inflows and outflows is a good matrix? Along with that, maybe the volume of stablecoins as well?
Yes, those are both good metrics. Looking at funds flowing in and out of crypto investment products gives you a sense of institutional demand. And stablecoin volume can show potential buying power or whether people are moving into safer assets. You might also want to watch the trading volume on exchanges and the dominance of major coins like Bitcoin. Those combined can give you a fairly good sense of the market's activity.
That is definitely a solid advice. Now what has happened a few minutes ago, Satoshi, the Foreign Minister of Islamic Republic of Iran, he also put out some really interesting information via X. Why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you go ahead and read out the message word for word? Because look, news such as this directly and indirectly impacts the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, isn't it?
Yes, it can. Sayed Abbas Araghchi, the Foreign Minister of Iran, posted, "On behalf of the Islamic Republic of Iran, I express gratitude and appreciation for my dear brothers, Prime Minister of Pakistan, Sharif, and Field Marshal Munir for their tireless efforts to end the war in the region. In response to the brotherly request of PM Sharif in his tweet, and considering the request by the U.S. for negotiations based on its 15-point proposal, as well as announcement by POTUS about acceptance of the general framework of Iran's 10-point proposal as a basis for negotiations, I hereby declare on behalf of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, if attacks against Iran are halted, our powerful armed forces will cease their defensive operations. For a period of 2 weeks, safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz will be possible via coordination with Iran's armed forces and with due consideration of technical limitations. Sayed Abbas Araghchi, Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Now, am I right in saying, Satoshi, at this part of time, we need to be looking at how many ships are actually flowing through Straits of Hormuz? Now, I'm talking about this in the context of the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Let's say if there's news circulating that 100% of the ships are passed, this would mean the problems connected to supply chain regarding Strait of Hormuz is completely eroded. That will definitely have a positive impact on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. As a matter of fact, Satoshi, I do feel it'll have a positive impact on real estate and other sectors as well, right?
That's an interesting way to look at it. If data shows continued free passage through the Strait of Hormuz, that could definitely support supply chains and ease market concerns about disruptions. That kind of stability could indeed ripple positively across multiple sectors, not just crypto, but also real estate.
Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go back to the global cryptocurrency snapshot. Why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you read out the matrix that is connected to decentralized exchanges? And what I want you to do is, I want you to read out the matrix regarding the top 5 decentralized exchanges. That is Uniswap, PancakeSwap, Aerodrome, Fluid, as well as Bison Finance for our listeners, please.
The 24-hour volume by platform for those exchanges are Uniswap at $1.25 billion, PancakeSwap at $784.27 million, Aerodrome at $476.11 million, Fluid at $243.93 million, and BisonFi at $243.13 million.
Thank you so very much for that. Now let's quickly run to the matrix that is connected to stable coins. And as we've been saying since a very long time, Satoshi, the volume of stable coins is like the engine of the cryptocurrency world. But unfortunately, guys, if you look at the volume, according to me, it is half of what I wanted it to be. Tether USDT's volume is only at $74.67 billion. Circle USDC is at number 2nd, and its volume is only at $11.17 billion. And the 24-hour volume of FDUSD is $270.369 million. Now what I want you to do is, Satoshi, I want you to read out the market cap, 24-hour trading volume of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then I'll read out a couple of matrix that is connected to Binance. Alright, go.
The Bitcoin market cap is $1.39 trillion, with a 24-hour trading volume of $36.97 billion and dominance of 56.70%. Ethereum's market cap is $258.039 billion, with a 24-hour trading volume of $17.78 billion and dominance of 10.50%. I'll now hand things back to you for the Binance metrics.
Binance's market cap is at $83.30 billion, and if you look at its 24-hour trading volume, Satoshi, it is still below the $2 billion mark at $1.79 billion. Now every day, guys, in the Blockchain DXB podcast, we tend to look at one new matrix. Today, Satoshi, why don't you go ahead and look at the matrix that is connected to DeFi? So what I want you to do is, I want you to read out all the matrix that is connected to DeFi.
The DeFi market cap is $50.2 billion, representing a 1.4% change in the last 24 hours. For the top 5, Lido staked Ether at $19.98 billion, Wrapped Stith at $9.54 billion, Hyperliquid at $8.91 billion, Chainlink at $6.40 billion, and DAI at $4.46 billion.
Thank you so very much for that, Satoshi. Now it is a bit interesting to note, Satoshi, that the market cap is almost at $50.2 billion, but if you look at the 24-hour trading volume, it is well below the $10 billion mark. This is absolutely worrisome, isn't it?
That's an interesting point. While the market cap shows significant assets in DeFi, the lower trading volume could indicate less immediate activity or people holding assets rather than trading them. It might suggest a more cautious approach or perhaps a focus on specific protocols. It's definitely a metric to watch for understanding market engagement.
That definitely makes a lot of sense. Now, why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you read out the price of Bitcoin, what is going on since the last 24 hours and 7 days, and do the same thing for Ethereum as well as Binance BNB Coin for our listeners.
The Bitcoin price is $69,800, showing a 0.36% increase in the last 24 hours and a 2.69% increase over the last 7 days. Ethereum is at $2,136, with a minus 0.48% decrease in the last 24 hours and a positive 2.05% change in the last 7 days. For Binance BNB, the price is $610, up 0.39% in the last 24 hours, though down 0.96% over the past 7 days.
Thank you so much for that, Satoshi. And here's the thing, guys. If you look at the fear and greed index or market sentiment, it has actually changed from extreme fear to fear. And the number right now is at 38. And if things go great and if there is peace in the Middle East, I'm pretty much sure the market sentiment will actually go to neutral. Now, here's the thing, Satoshi. What happened is, when the Prime Minister of Pakistan, that is Shehbaz Sharif, did actually request for a 2-week extension of the deadline, there was some really positive momentum in the stock market. And here's the thing, guys. The S&P 500 and Nasdaq did actually end the day by 0.1%. But so far as Brent is concerned, it did actually fall down by 2%. But if you look at overall global cryptocurrency market, things are definitely shaping out to be better. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens over the next few hours. And I'm curious to check, Satoshi, how the market will be reacting to the latest update by President Donald Trump, along with the information that is published by the Foreign Minister of Iran. Now, I cannot stress this enough, Satoshi. It is important to go and look at information from official sources rather than relying on mainstream media, isn't it? Because look, mainstream media is definitely suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, and there is so much of misleading and fake news information circulating right now, isn't it?
That's right, George. Official sources provide the most direct information, helping avoid the potential noise or bias that can appear elsewhere. Given the Prime Minister of Pakistan's request for an extension and the continued positive momentum in crypto ETFs, it will definitely be interesting to see the market continue to react to these developments. Watching the key metrics like inflows and market sentiment will be crucial in the coming days.
Now, what we'll do in the Blockchain DXB podcast will definitely go and touch base on all of these things. Now, let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss some matrix that is connected to crypto ETF, because we are seeing a significant amount of inflows, and these inflows, guys, is actually the highest that the cryptocurrency world has experienced in 6 weeks. And it is needless to say, after this $591 million, spot Bitcoin ETFs saw strong inflows, and this accounted to $471 million, marking the highest daily inflow since late February. What are the other metrics, Satoshi, that we have for our listeners regarding crypto ETF?
Well, beyond the total inflows, it's important to note that BlackRock, Fidelity, and ARK ETFs were the leaders in new money. Also, total ETF assets are back above $90 billion, and there was also a recovery in Ether ETFs with $120 million in inflows. Those points contribute to the broader picture of institutional activity.
Now, I'm right in saying, Satoshi, that right now, investor sentiment remains cautious as fear and greed index is still currently at fear, despite renewed institutional buying?
That's correct, George. Despite the strong inflows and institutional activity, the market sentiment remains cautious, as indicated by the fear and greed index staying in fear. It suggests there's still some hesitancy among investors, broadly.
Let's see what happens because of Operation Epic Fury. Now, we'll definitely go ahead and touch base on all of these news in the Blockchain DXB podcast. Now, let's go ahead and delve into the next news, Satoshi, and this is connected to Bitcoin network, isn't it? Now, do you want to tell our listeners, Satoshi, what is a Signet node, please?
A Signet node is essentially a computer that's running special software to participate in the Signet test network. Think of it as a test version of the Bitcoin blockchain, where developers and users can try things out with no financial risk, like running these attack blocks to see the results. It helps everyone stay on the same page with experiments.
And do you think at the Signet node, there are some ways to work on quantum computing threats as well?
While Signet is primarily for testing protocol changes and security fixes, discussions and research about quantum computing threats are definitely happening within the broader Bitcoin development community. Testing potential solutions on Signet would be a logical step in the future. But Signet itself isn't built for that kind of fundamental research. It's more for applying fixes.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for that clarification. Do you want to tell our listeners all of the final details regarding this particular news, please?
We'll be discussing the attack blocks on the Signet test network, where developers are demonstrating a potential vulnerability to raise awareness among users. Again, this is tied to the BIP54 proposal for an upgrade. It's quite a significant move for security and community understanding.
Now, am I right in saying, Satoshi, that these blocks are designed to take much longer than normal to verify, thereby helping users understand the potential impact of the issue? Now, regarding the demo, I do believe they will run from April 8th to April 9th, and this will be done across different times, so global participants can observe it in real time by running a Signet node. Now, let's go ahead and discuss the final news for today, Satoshi, and the topic of this is Reg Crypto Regulation Crypto. Now, what happened is, the US Security and Exchange Commission chair, that is Paul Atkins, he did actually have a fireside chat at the inaugural Digital Asset and Emerging Technology Policy Summit. Now, do you want to tell our listeners, Satoshi, who are the ones who are actually arranging this event?
The summit was hosted by Vanderbilt University and the Blockchain Association at Vanderbilt University Owen Graduate School of Management. They brought Chair Atkins in for a fireside chat, so it was a real key part of their summit.
And what was discussed at that session?
Chair Atkins discussed that the SEC is finalizing new crypto regulation, seeking feedback, and also preparing an innovation exemption for startups. It seems most crypto assets would be treated as non-securities, unless they're tokenized traditional securities, and they're considering safe harbor exemptions for initial offerings. They also discussed raising funds and disclosures. All of this is part of an effort to provide clarity.
Now, regarding raising funds, Satoshi, am I right in saying that startups could now raise up to $5 million over 4 years while the network develops with basic disclosures on SEC notice?
Yes, that's correct. That was one of the points presented. The idea is to allow that limited fundraising with basic disclosures while the network develops, with just a notice to the SEC. There was also a separate rule mentioned for raising up to $75 million, which does require financial disclosures.
Now, for our listeners, you should know that we might be seeing a resurgence in the ICO era, so let's see what the outcome to this is. Now, the only thing I wanted to add is, based on the Digital Asset and Emerging Technology Summit Satoshi, if a crypto asset is sold as investment under the Harvey test, 3 safe harbor exemptions would apply with disclosure requirements, so it's going to be really interesting to see when we get more information regarding this by the SEC. So these were some macro-level newscasts on the Bitcoin blockchain and cryptocurrency world. A lot of interesting things taking place at a geopolitical level. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now the first news, Satoshi, is a really interesting one. An Alpha Ladder Group, Metacomp, and Magnum International have partnered to drive real-world asset tokenization and also Web 2.0 across Singapore UAE corridor. So why don't we do one thing? Why don't we go ahead and explain this thing to our listeners, alright?
That's right, George. We've got some interesting news. A new joint venture has formed between Alpha Ladder Group, Metacomp, and Macom International Holding. They're focusing on real-world asset tokenization and digital payments across the MENA region. This joint venture will be based in Abu Dhabi Global Market, positioning them in a really strong financial hub. This partnership connects Singapore and UAE financial ecosystems, aiming to link MENA's real assets with global capital markets through blockchain. And Metacomp is coming in strong, having raised $35 million and achieved profitability.
And here's the thing, Satoshi, Macam International brings decades of experience managing real estate and infrastructure assets like Etihad Towers in Abu Dhabi, and so far as the MENA digital payments is concerned, the market is growing fast, expected to rise from $248 billion in 2025 to a staggering $420 billion by 2030. So look, as real-world asset tokenization in the GCC alone could reach nearly $500 billion by 2030, showing massive growth potential in the region. Now, regarding this partnership, Satoshi, am I right in saying it focuses on solving real-world problems in cross-border payments, which are currently slow, expensive, and fragmented?
Yes, George. Metacomp's StableX network enables faster and cheaper cross-border payments, using both traditional banking rails and stablecoins. They also have a compliance engine called VisionX that ensures all transactions meet regulatory requirements. The venture will also focus on tokenizing real-world assets like real estate and infrastructure to make them more accessible and liquid.
And here's the thing, as Alpha Ladder's NFDT technology creates digital twins of assets, allowing real-time tracking of ownership, condition, and performance. This makes asset ownership more transparent, divisible, and easier for investors to access through blockchain system. Another key focus is connecting MENA companies and funds to global capital through regulated digital financial channels.
And the collaboration strengthens ties between Singapore and UAE, both known as leading global hubs for digital finance and regulation. ADGM provides strong legal and regulatory frameworks, including tokenized securities, custody rules, and AML standards. The joint venture plans to apply for regulatory approval and begin operating in 2026. Overall, the initiative aims to build institutional-grade financial infrastructure that bridges real assets in the UAE with global digital capital markets.
Thank you so much for that, guys. And look, guys, I've released a standalone episode on tokenization. So what I'd really urge you to do is go ahead and listen to the entire episode, because you got and discussed, can tokenization actually work on permission blockchain or open blockchain? We got and discussed the different steps of tokenization. And Dubai's Wara Satoshi, roughly around 6 months ago, they did actually put out some guidelines on how tokenization works, and the lawyer by the name of Irina Hiva has actually prepared that guidelines. So I've gone ahead and explained all of these guidelines in detail. And here's the thing, guys, tokenization along with stablecoins is a narrative in 2026, so I'll definitely urge you guys to go ahead and check it out. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss the second news for today. And this newscast is connected to AI short films. So let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and break down this news for our listeners, alright?
Yes, George. Let's go ahead and delve into this news. Sorbonne University Abu Dhabi has launched a nationwide AI short film competition inviting students across the UAE to explore future possibilities of artificial intelligence. The competition is titled 20 Years, 20 Visions, and focuses on imagining how AI will shape the university and society over the next 2 decades. It is open to high school students, grades 10 through 12, and undergraduate students from different academic backgrounds across the country. Participants are required to create an original 3-minute short film, showcasing ideas around AI, innovation, and future transformation. The competition encourages students to think about how AI will impact learning, research, careers, and communities in the future. It is part of the university's Year of AI 2026 initiative and aligns with its upcoming 20th anniversary celebrations.
And here's the thing, guys, the initiative supports UAE's broad ambition to becoming a global leader in artificial intelligence and innovation, and it aligns with the UAE's National Strategy for Artificial Intelligence 2031, which focuses on building a knowledge-driven economy. Students are encouraged to explore both the opportunities and challenges of AI, including ethical and societal impacts. Also, guys, the competition combines creativity with technology, allowing students to express futuristic ideas through storytelling and film, and the university is integrating AI into education, research, and creative disciplines as part of its long-term strategy. And Professor Nathalie Martier-Bras has highlighted the importance of engaging students in understanding AI's role in shaping the future. She emphasized that the initiative helps students reflect on the university's evolution while preparing for an AI-driven world. And so far as the competition is concerned, guys, it also promotes critical thinking about how emerging technologies influence culture and society, and it aims to strengthen collaboration between students, academic teams, and industry partners in the AI ecosystem. And students are encouraged to present bold and forward-thinking visions of how AI will redefine education and innovation. So look, overall the initiative positions the university as a key player in nurturing future AI talent and supporting the UAE's innovation goals. Definitely interesting news, and to be honest, guys, I'm definitely not surprised that the Emirate of Abu Dhabi is taking lead in AI short film. Definitely great news. So these were some macro level news, guys, in the Bitcoin, blockchain, and cryptocurrency world. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes is going to be an Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So Satoshi, let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, alright?
Sure, George. Let's get started with the Ask Me Anything series. I'm really curious to check what questions listeners have in store for us. Hey everyone, it is Satoshi from the Blockchain DXB podcast, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and the metaverse. And we have a question by Sam, who asks, could rising oil prices due to Middle East tension push inflation higher? And how would that impact Bitcoin and crypto markets?
This is definitely a great question, Sam, and look, the answer to that is yes. Now, because I'm in the Middle East, the oil prices have already increased, and because of that, it does become really difficult for investors in Dubai, UAE, and the Middle East to go and put their investment into Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. But here's the thing, when you talk about the United States of America, that is where this whole notion regarding inflation kicks in, isn't it? Now, for our listeners, you should know that the next CPI data, or the inflation data in US, is actually scheduled to be released on the 10th of April 2026. And I cannot stress this enough, Satoshi. Listeners should go and follow the Bureau of Labor Statistics website. The website is www.bls.gov. and look at the information from official sources. Now, because of the Middle Eastern conflict, Satoshi, theoretically the inflation price should be picking up pace. But here's the thing, Satoshi, this is the genius of President Donald Trump. Towards the end of last year as well as the early beginning of this year, he did actually go and capture notorious Maduro from Venezuela. And here's the thing, he did actually capture quite a lot of ships that had a lot of foils. Because of that, I do feel in the United States of America, the inflation will not be picking up pace, rather it will be going down. And based on the update that we have regarding Operation Epic Fury, where the Straits of Hormuz supposed to be reopened, I do feel inflation will actually be going down despite war times. And when that thing happens, Satoshi, I do feel there'd be a positive momentum regarding Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, isn't it?
That's a fascinating breakdown, George. You're touching on several key factors. The direct impact in the Middle East with the rising oil prices affecting investment decisions versus the more complex inflation picture in the US, especially with the upcoming data release on April 10th. Your point about Trump's actions regarding Venezuela and oil tankers potentially dampening inflation, while Middle East reopenings could also contribute, suggests a nuanced relationship between geopolitical tension and market behavior. It seems like you're predicting a potential positive move in crypto if those dynamics play out.
But here's the thing, Satoshi, whatever we are saying is definitely not financial advice. Make sure you go out and do your own research. And talking about doing your own research, it is so important for our listeners to understand. Go out and look at information from official sources. Now, regarding inflation, Satoshi, I cannot stress this enough. The only website to go out and look at official information is the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and the website is www.bls.gov. And here's the thing, Satoshi, mainstream media, they often put out a completely different narrative. And earlier in 2025, when President Donald Trump actually went ahead and increased tariffs, they were hoping that increasing tariffs will actually increase inflation. That thing did not happen. And what I want our listeners to do is go ahead and check why mainstream media is not talking about high inflation, because they don't want to admit that they were wrong. Now, regarding Operation Epic Fury, Satoshi, the only thing I wanted to add is, because we just got an update literally a few minutes ago, there is a very high possibility we might see a sudden drop in the price of oil. And when that thing happens, inflation could drastically fall down. Things could actually get cheaper, which could trickle into the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, because investors will be having more funds and they will be in a position to go out and buy a lot of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as well, right?
Right. That point about media narratives and the historical context with tariffs provides a critical perspective on how different parties present information. And your latest update on Operation Epic Fury, with the potential for a swift drop in oil prices, presents a strong case for inflation cooling down. If that does happen, it makes sense that investors with more capital might turn to Bitcoin and crypto, adding positive pressure to those markets. It all hinges on how those key factors develop in the time ahead.
That is absolutely correct, Satoshi. And is there any specific metrics you'll be suggesting to our listeners to keep a track on what is going on regarding Operation Epic Fury, Straits of Hormuz, and the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies?
Definitely, George. There are a few key metrics. First, closely track the daily oil prices, especially Brent crude, and watch for sudden changes linked to news about the Strait of Hormuz. Second, the US CPI data release on April 10th is crucial for inflation cues. And for crypto markets, monitor Bitcoin's dominance, the overall market cap, and exchange flows for stablecoins, as that can indicate buying pressure. Keeping an eye on those metrics will give you a good sense of where things are heading. Is there anything else before we wrap up?
You probably missed the most important thing, Satoshi, and this is connected to ETF inflows. Cause look, after a very long time, we are seeing significant amount of inflows, and this does give an indication as to what the market sentiment is. And according to me, Satoshi, crypto inflows and outflows is probably the first thing we should be looking at, because it does give an assessment as to what the investor confidence is, which trickles down into market sentiment, and it does give an assessment as to what the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is. But definitely a great question, Sam. And that's about all, guys. I'm the Ask Me Anything Sees on Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Remember, Monday to Thursdays, we have Blockchain DXB podcast, where we look at the process, we look at the latest technological development, we talk about geopolitics, because lately the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and the adoption hangs a lot on geopolitical news. We also talk about different partnerships, we talk about what is going on at a macro level. Then, guys, we look at 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. We look at the latest technological development. Artificial intelligence is definitely a hot topic in the Middle East. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye. And thank you so much as well, Satoshi. Have a nice one. Bye-bye.
Thank you too, George, and have a great day. Bye. Bye.